Welcome everyone. This is the Fat Lady Who Knits. Welcome to our channel. I hope you all are all well. I know graduation, prom season, all of that is in the air. So everyone is busy, busy, busy. And so I appreciate the time you have to spend with me today. What is going on in my world right now? Lots and lots and lots. You know what? For once, let's not start with socks. Let's start with something else. I um I know I'm not supposed to be spending money, but it was all for a good reason. I went somewhere and I saw some bags that I thought would be, and it's only two, would make absolutely fabulous project bags because I do a lot of traveling by train and bus. I think this year I'm going to re-include traveling by plane into my repertoire, which reminds me, I am sorry I stumble so much over my words. Please forgive me. I have no idea why it happens when I turn the camera on. So please, thank you for hearing what I say, but an even bigger thank you for understanding what I mean. Okay, I appreciate that. Um, about the bags. Well, let me show you and you'll understand why they're really great project bags. Look at this one. It has this absolutely wonderful long handle so I can string it across my body while I'm on the train or the bus, and then I can sit and knit because my hands are free, right? And so what is this? This is this the front, the back? Oh, they're both the same. But this bag is from Vietnam. And I I kind of like grass, straw. If I could ever figure out how to, I would bring back so many baskets from Africa just to decorate the house. It would be wall to wall baskets. I'd probably have baskets hanging from the ceiling and the walls, and have baskets on the floor, baskets for everything. Because I love them, and I think they're a neat way to store yarn. Because I have one over there that's full of yarn, and it's nicer than a bin. But look at this. I mean, come on. How could I resist using this as a project bag? You could just take your knit and, thank you, blue, and pop it in there, close it up, hang it across you, pull out your needles, and do your work. And I'm absolutely certain I have shoes and even a hat to match this. So this is my newest project bag. And while I was in the store, since I bought this straw, wicker, whatever you're calling it, and I'm going to put this down without bending my head. Watch. Yes, I tossed it. I could not resist this one. We all know how I feel about this color. Okay? If they're selling it and it's in this color, I'm buying it. But this one is awesome also. It has a long handle that you can even make longer. Well, I have a hole punch. I can make it longer. And it has pockets. So I could put my phone in here, cash, cards, whatever, notions in here. And then there's this deep pocket. Look, it even holds a project bag. And then there are lots of pockets. There's a big pocket in here, a few little sleeve pockets. So this is an absolutely wonderful, oh, and there's a pouch back here. So you can have more than one project. So this is awesome. It has all these pockets, it's deep enough, and it can fit my project bag. I could probably get 2 or 3 in here. Oh boy, what have I done? Oh, okay. The thread around my neck. We're going to get to that. But these I could not resist. Okay? And there's something in here I want to show you. So I'll put this here. There goes my glasses. Blue, you're falling down on the job. Things are hitting the floor. That's not supposed to happen. So this This was an awesome find. So now I have two awesome project bags that I can put the cloth project bags plus my phone, my wallet, and whatever else I'm carrying. So these two were awesome finds, and they were not expensive. Less than $25. You can't beat that. Okay? My head didn't go down, right? I came forward, but my head didn't go down. And what else did I find? Oh, you don't. Oh, look what I just did. I'm sorry. Not only did I put my head down, I almost knocked the phone over. Oh boy. Okay, so let's do this gently. Oops. This is huge. I have been searching for this for years. I went to, hold on, let me close it so it doesn't go flying all over the place on me. I have been searching for this container. Oh, I'm making noise in your ears. Sorry. I have been searching for this container for years. I went to, not a crank-in, I went to a flatbed knitting machine seminar, and one of the instructors had this container, and it's been years now. Hers was green. Yeah, hers was green. Her top was green. And I was like, the whole class, our mouths fell open because we were like, this would be perfect to store all the extraneous tools that we have for our flatbed machines. We could put the smaller weights, all those smaller cast-on combs, the tools, a book or two, some yarn, all the little things that we need when we work with our machines. And she was like, oh, this is at Lowe's. This is at, what's that store? Walmart. And we were like, maybe in your neighborhood, but not in ours. And I have been on a quest, and it's been, I'm telling you, I must have seen this in like 2017 or 2018. And so what happened? One of the princesses, the older ones, I begged her to go to Walmart to get what? I don't even remember why I wanted to go to Walmart. Oh, I wanted some summer clothing. So I begged her to go to Walmart. We crossed the bridge. We got to Walmart. And I went to the fishing section because I know this is where this should be. I was going to go to the sewing section first, but I said, no, let me try the fishing section first. I went down, I looked down the first aisle, I didn't see anything. I went down the second aisle and they only had the small ones, and then they had the igloo coolers. I was like, I don't understand. I've been searching for this thing for years. Why can't I find it? I went back to the first aisle to look for braided fishing wire so I could use it on the circular sock machine, because I want to once again try to see if I can put an easy barrier between my cast on thread and the sock, that when I'm done I can just pull it out and like magic I'll have my sock. So while I'm walking down this aisle, I just happen to look. The fishing line is to my right, but I happen to look left. And I thought I saw a big bin. And I'm like, am I seeing things? Am I seeing it because I want to see it? So I walk over and I pull it up, and sure enough, you're not even going to see me past this. Look at this. Okay? This thing is huge, and I love it. I should have bought two. It's by Flambeau. I have another Flambeau, but it's little. And I would show it to you, but I would have to bend my head, and I'm not allowed to bend my head. Even though my head is not bald. Look how much it's grown since last week. I really need to scrape it. But this is awesome. It's huge, and it has these things on the side to hold it. And then when you open it up, can I open it up? Oh boy. Oh boy. I just had it open. You flip the top and look at this. It has, can I show it to you? Oops. it has these shelves that come out. So this is awesome because the little one that I have is not holding all the stuff for the circular sock machine. Can you believe that? You would think the little one would be fine, but no, not working. So I am really pleased with this. I'm sorry about that. I make a lot of extraneous noise. I should have bought two because then I would have one for the flatbed knitting machines. Why didn't I buy two? Because I wanted to immediately tell which one was which, and they only had brown. But I could have brought it back and tied yarn on one or a piece of cloth, and I would have known immediately which was which. Hindsight is 2020. But let me put this down. Oops. Okay, I have to fix that when I'm done and my head is still up and I put it away. Okay, so I was really pleased with those three finds. I bought something else. Oh boy. I was watching someone's video and she pulled out this tool by Addie that you can use to move stitches on the circular sock machine, and I bought it. But I'm like, there's something familiar about this tool. I'm not sure what it is. Here it is. It has that little point at this end, and it has a much thicker one. Does it show more when it's on this? No. Okay. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, you need to be careful. I keep hearing the voice in my head. I know I'm not schizo. You need to be careful. And after working with this for a couple of days, I said, you know what? This is not the first tool of this kind I've had. So what did I do? I opened my small Flumbo fishing tackle box. And what did I find? This. So at some point, I had another one of these and it broke. And so I now have this part from it. I don't know where this part is. And I have a vague memory, there I go making noise again, sorry, of wanting to put it in a pin vise so that I can use it. But then I remembered I had two pin vises. I gave them away. I should have kept one. But I was like, that's why I'm hearing be careful, because I've already broken one, okay? And I bought this one all over. I shouldn't have. Now I have to be so careful because in my, okay, it is what it is. Hopefully it will last me a while, okay? Because those dental pick things that they're selling in, what's that, Harbor Freight? Those are not working for me. The tips they're shaped incorrect. They're just not working for me. They work for other people, so that's great. Okay, so those are my few purchases, and I'll put this away. I did that and I didn't bend my head. Yay! What else is going on? Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, we're already at 13 minutes. This is going to run over. I am sorry. I know I'm taking from your crafting time. I apologize. But there's a new circular sock machine in town. It's the True Knit, and it's produced by a lady named Jamie Mayfield. Those people who've gotten it, they're posting all over Facebook how wonderful their machine is. I think it's being touted as a machine that does not drop stitches, and that sounds absolutely wonderful, especially to someone like me who continually drops stitches. But it's pricey. And I'm not saying this to be mean or nasty, but it's pricey. Okay? If you have you know what it is? It's pricey if you don't have the money. If you have the money, then it's not a big deal. Okay? But I can't wait to go to a crank-in and have someone bring it so I can try it out. Because I love the idea that in using it, you're not going to be dropping stitches, because that annoys the living daylights out of me. But just not dropping stitches is not enough to justify buying a fourth circular sock machine. It does not make sense. I don't make socks to sell. Why do I need a fourth machine? Now, if someone gifts it to me, I will smile and say thank you prettily, but nah. But for all those out there who are going to get it, check it out. Let me know what you think. Post some videos on Facebook, post it on Instagram. We would love to see you. I would love to see you working at your machine and for you to tell me whether or not it actually does not drop stitches, because that would be fabulous. And if, based on what she said in her video, it's something about the yarn carrier and the way it's configured that it opens the needles the yarn carrier opens the needles as it goes around. That means the Chambord people, the Erlbacher people, they could re-engineer their yarn carrier so that it does the same thing. It's an improvement. Why not improve all the machines? That's the way I see it. Just my 2 cents here. Now, why is there yarn around my neck? And why is there yarn hanging from there? I have been talking about dyeing yarn. And I need to, because most sock machine that's sold is for stripes. And for everyone else, I have no problem. The people who love stripes, I don't. And the colorways I want, other people aren't necessarily producing it, or even if they are, I think I can do it, because most people are using the Pro-Chem dyes and the yarn from Peru, unless you have someone who has their own sheep and they have the capacity to spin their own yarn, or they're taking it somewhere where it can be spun for them. That way they can vary the type of wool that they use, the percentage of non-wool that they use, so they can create their blend. Okay, I get that. But why haven't I dyed the yarn? I just realized 2 things are going on. Each time I dye yarn, I feel as though I'm losing something, because then it's no longer in this pristine state that I can look at it and I'm just being a hoarder. When I dye it, I am compelled to start, or not compelled, because I have some dyed yarn here I haven't used. I am encouraged when I need to make a socks for me to use one of those that I dyed. And you know what? I'm not a fan of having all these little bits of yarn, because I have, oops, that'll have to be another episode. I'd have to bend my head to get it, and I'm not allowed to bend my head. But I have a container full of remnants of yarn from socks that I've made. And there's some people, they do beautiful Franken socks. I have not seen that capacity in myself, because a lot of the people I make socks for, they're conservative. They're not looking for the bright wild colors that I love. They like the nice pinks, they like a nice blue, they like a gray. It can have a little darker color in it. I've got to meet some of those people who want some wild socks, and then we'll see what I can do. So I think what I'm going to have to do is to weigh, because I know I have a scale here somewhere, is to weigh a sock that I have made and see exactly what is the weight, and then dye just a skosh more than that, because I don't want to play yarn chicken, but I don't want to be left with all these odds and ends that cannot make a sock. That, to me, that's wastage. It can't be helped when you buy commercial sock yarn, but if I have it, this is 100 grams. That's more than enough for a pair of socks. So I'm going to have to, and it's going to be a pain, take this, weigh the sock, see how much a pair of socks for someone like me would weigh, and then measure it out so that I dye just a little bit more than that, and then save the yarn for another project, so that I don't have all these little balls, because I am ready now to graduate from this container I have down here to this huge, 5-gallon bottle. It's a formal water bottle to put all the odds and ends. I don't want to do that. I really, really don't want to do that. Okay? So that's why the yarn isn't dyed. It's around my neck, because I cleaned up the space so I could so I could dye yarn. But I'll get to it. I have to find the scale. Um, we're over time. Again, I am so sorry. Let me try and get to. Okay, I have one or two things. Ah, remember I was challenged with the knee-high socks? Well, I made one, and I want to. Can you see that it's all tied up? Can we see that? It's not tied up. Those are rubber bands. Because I want to tie-dye a sock. Many moons, suns ago, I tie-dyed this. And I love these wild colors, but I want it even wilder. So I made a knee-high sock, or at least I'm hoping it'll be a knee-high sock, and I want to dye it. But I realized after putting all these rubber bands on, that rubber bands might not be the ideal solution. I think I either need to take them off or get thread. I have thread here somewhere, and tie it instead, because I have the feeling that the yarn will just go right under the rubber band, whereas if I tie it tight enough, I will get more of a tie-dye effect. So hopefully next time you see this, it'll be a beautiful tie-dye sock. Even if it isn't, I'll show you what happened, okay? There's no point in hiding mistakes, okay? So that's that. And then, now this is interesting. I made these. They're supposed to be knee-highs, but I haven't washed them yet. And as you can see, they're dirty. Why are they dirty? I made them on the Speedster. I have not used the Speedster in a couple of years. Note to self, before you put white or cream colored yarn on a machine you have not used for years, clean the machine. Why? Because there's old oil and dirt on it, and it will get on your sock. Fortunately, I have Dawn dishwashing liquid, and I'm going to soak it, and the oil will come out. But if I had cleaned the machine first, I would not have that problem. So this is my attempt at knee-high socks for me. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to wash them. Let's see how much they shrink, and do I really end up with a pair of knee-high socks? I hope so. If not, back to the drawing board, because I can't make any socks now because everybody wants knee-highs. Oh, and I've got to tell you, in working with these have been a lifesaver. These light bulb stitch markers. Now what's interesting about this, when I first started buying higher needles, they used to come with one pink one in them, and I loved it. And a more experienced knitter said to me, why are you using that junk? Those things are garbage. Don't use that. Get a real stitch marker. Okay, I have lots of real stitch markers, but you know what? This works well. I have a whole pack in all different colors, and I can mark off my rows so I know how long the sock really is. Because if my my magnet flies off, which it does occasionally, then I have no clue how many rows. Let's say it fell off and I didn't see, and I've already cranked I don't know how many rows, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's not moving, the row count, and I then don't know where I am. These are a lifesaver. I put them on every 10 rows, and then I can, when the socks are done, I can compare, because sometimes when you look at the sock, your eyes lie to you. You look at the sock, they look as though they're not the same, as though you have more rows in one than the other. Sometimes that's true, but often it's not. It's the way your eye sees the sock. Okay, so these have turned out to be quite handy. I'm glad I got them, and they were inexpensive off Amazon, and I like some of these colors, especially this one. It's awesome. Okay, so that takes care of that. Oops, you got to see my teeth up close and personal, but I didn't bend my head. Okay, so there's that. Okay, before I go, there's one other thing. Oh, I have started, well, I guess there are two other things. I have started doing it's the bottom of the hat, the rib for the hat. I have started doing, didn't I have a hat around here somewhere? What did I do with it? It's not on my head. Okay, it's around here somewhere. No, it's not in there. I've started the rib for the hat that I want to test to see if I can do a, what's that? Um, when you throw it in the hot water with soap and it shrinks. Felting. Okay? We know I don't like seams, but I think I may have to give up on that and do the rib as a with a seam at the bottom, because if I'm doing one hat for me, it's not a problem, but if I'm doing several hats as has been requested, that is going to get to be a pain, and I'm not sure I'm up for that. But what I could do is just continually making the rib and not stopping. Let's say I want to do a blue hat. After I finish this color rib, just add the blue yarn and keep going, and at some point cut them apart, because this is easy work on the train. It's harder on the bus, and I finally figured out why. Because the streets are awful, so the bus is bouncing you all over the place. Who would have thought a ride on a train would be smoother than the ride on the bus? But working on the train is much easier. So I think this is what I'll do with this. So you will see that again in the future. And I think this is the last thing. I have a tip for those who do make socks on their circular sock machine. When you do the rib, even when you do one selvage, you see how there's that flare? Well, this is neater than most. You see how the stitches, there's some give there that you may not like the look of? I found a way around that. It wastes yarn, but since I have a constant need for waste yarn, it works out well for me. What you do is, let's say you want to do 40 rows of rib. Do 43 or 45, and then go back and snip. Let's say you've done 45, so go to row 43, counting from the bottom, and snip across that row and take off those 2 rows that are at the top, and you will get this beautiful smooth top. Okay? Now you don't have to do what I say. I'm just telling you one of the little tricks, because there's some people, when they do their rib, it comes out like this to begin with. I am not one of those people, but I've learned. Snip off. The only caveat, this only works on 1x1 rib. So if you do a 2x2, a 2x3, a 5x1, it's not going to work. But on the 1x1 rib, this works beautifully, and you end up with this beautiful selvage. It's smooth and looks really nice. Okay, it's like the skin of a newborn baby. No, when they're newborn, they don't look so good. When they're a couple weeks old, that skin really is awesome and popping. Okay, so that's just a little hint and tip here. Oh, I had something else. I wanted to talk about one of the biggest myths in circular sock machine knitting, but this has gone on for almost half an hour. The only thing I'll say about, do not believe anyone who tells you that if you have a circular sock machine, you must buy every cylinder in order to make different size sock. That is not so. Because let me tell you, for years, I could not get the 72 cylinder on Speedy, the old Barker Speedster, to fit me. I made this sock on it, and it fits me perfectly. I made a sock for one of the princesses on it, and it fit her perfectly. I have no clue how or why, because for years I tried, and it was always too big. I kept playing with the tension on it, and now I can make any size sock on that 72-inch cylinder. Now I have to do see if I can do the same thing on the 72 cylinder